Hi, everyone. Sit, relax, relax. Welcome to Make Your Day Richer. I, of course, am your host, Jay Leno, and I thank you for being here. Joining me today is a dedicated guide for those on the path to healing from abuse and trauma. Lisa Tickel is the host of the impactful podcast, Healing and Growing Hand in Hand, and the creator of the Women's Childhood Abuse Healing Workshop. Lisa is passionate about helping survivors find their way forward, and she's here to offer a transparent conversation about her own healing journey. So if that sounds like a good episode to you, press that share button, press that like button, and let's start the show.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Lisa, did you get made fun of when you were a kid for your name, though? Or is that a married name?
That's a married name, so.
Okay.
And actually, my husband, they were well known in the little town that they lived in, and they were well respected, so I'm surprised.
Wow. I think even if I had, I have siblings, and if they were marrying someone with that last name, I would still tease them. I would have to.
Of course. Oh, there's many things that come to my mind to say that would be inappropriate.
Yes, that's a different podcast that Lisa will and I will be on after this to talk about our other thing. I want to talk about your podcast, Healing and Growing Hand in Hand. Tell everybody about the podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited about it. So I've been, my podcast has been on for over a year, and the focus is helping people heal from childhood abuse and trauma, which is not a fun subject, but a very important one. Mm-hmm. And quickly, I have 4 pillars to the podcast that are important. So one, I invite guests to come on and share their stories of healing, of their abuse and healing. Bring on expert to share recommendations and tips and tools. And then third, bringing awareness to areas where there's abuse that a lot of people may not be aware of. And then the fourth is a new one, is prevention. So bringing, again, a type of awareness to maybe parents that can help with children, teachers. So, yeah, that is the podcast.
And when does it come out? Like how often? Like what day?
So season 2. So last year I had it coming out twice a week. This year I'm having it come out once a week, just because I've got some other big projects going on. So I have it come out every Monday.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
Fun. And you're a season 2, so you must be having fun doing it.
I am, and I'm meeting so many amazing people.
Yeah.
So many people in my position where they have gone through their own trauma, and now what they want to do is help others. So yeah, it's been great.
I think I want to talk about how you got to this point and where the podcast kind of came in your life. But I also want to touch on, because you're so fun to be around, that when people hear maybe that podcast, they're going to be like, oh, I can't listen to that. That's so heavy, sad, depressing, heavy. Yes. What do you say to people who might think that?
Well, that is actually true. And there are people that just can't take it. But for the people that have gone through the trauma, one of the most important things is learning about trauma. Even though it is a heavy subject, the learning more about trauma and how it affects us and how to heal from it adds to the healing. So I know in my life that as I've learned about trauma, as hard as it is to hear about it, it's helped me understand more about me and my behavior from my trauma. So it's been actually empowering. So I always tell people, you do have to take care of yourself too. You may listen to a podcast. It might be a little heavy. It's not always heavy. Mine aren't always super heavy. Mm-hmm. Because I try to make it a little bit light, so that it isn't so hard on people. Because at the end of the podcast, each episode, the goal is that someone walks away with some really good information, and it's motivating rather than depressing.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the stories that have been told on the podcast? Because I think especially childhood stuff, like you think people don't realize maybe what the trauma was, and it's not, well, that was just my childhood, that's just how I grew up, that's how, and you don't realize that, that maybe affected your entire life. You don't even realize.
You're so right, because there's a lot of people that don't recognize the trauma in their life, and that was true for me as well. Not until I started learning about it. But I've got such a spectrum of people coming on and sharing their stories, men, which is I just love so much, because men, so often don't want to share. That's a whole nother, animal right there. But I've had people share about their human trafficking that they've gone through. There's been some medical abuse. One of the most interesting guests I had, Bobby Click, and he actually focuses on helping people become aware of the abuse that happens in childhood sports. So, for instance, here in the United States, there's over 20 million children that play sports a year, and over a third of them are abused.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot. And if we could just even tap into that and just educate, we could really make a dent.
What a space you're providing for people to come and feel secure enough to be so vulnerable in front of so many people.
I know, that is a gift I have. I don't know how I do it. Honestly, I've been told that, and I've been in this arena healing myself and helping women. And for some reason, I do provide a safe space where there's not judgment. I understand. I get it. I get why we do the things that we do.
Yeah. What made you want to be so open about your trauma?
Well, one of the statistics that motivated me, I didn't realize this at the time, is that on average, women are abused between the ages of 13 and 17 sexually, and they don't open their mouth and share about it for 4 decades. So there's 40 years of women suffering. And I know that to be true in the other types of abuse as well. And so what I wanted to do in my life, I didn't have the support, and it wasn't there. It just wasn't. We're learning about trauma now. And so what I'm trying to do is help shorten people's suffering. And so if I'm vulnerable and I put my stuff out there, which, believe me, I never did that over the years, and now I share stories that I never thought I would share. If those stories help people connect and realize that there's hope for them as well, then that's what I'm going to do.
I was also, when I was reading about you and your, I guess, mission kind of to help people overcome like the victim mentality, which I think is such a huge hurdle to get over when you've gone through something. Can you talk about how maybe you did that and why that's so important?
I did. I had the victim mentality as well as I was in survival mode. So I had kind of a double whammy. And, when you're in the middle of it, you may not realize it, but the damage that's done to you yourself, as well as your loved ones, that is something that I had to work on. And yes, we were victims when we were children, we were being abused. But the empowering thing is that when we're, in our adult life, we are now responsible for what we do with that. And that can be frightening, but in the right setting, when you're helped and supported, you can work through that and no longer become a victim. And I actually kind of did it on my own. And so, because there wasn't a lot of resources out there. So I learned how to work through that myself. And so that's what I try to help other women do as well.
Do you know at all, like, statistics or anything about like the people who go through traumatic childhoods who don't process and deal with that? Like the, what do you call it? Like that it ends up, they do the same thing to their children.
It's so common. It is so common because we are going to repeat what we've learned and what we've experienced. There's some statistics, like, I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but 97% of the people that are incarcerated have had childhood abuse. I think 90% of the addicts have had childhood abuse.
Wow.
And so I even considered not having children because I was aware when I was a teenager that I was abused, and I was very concerned about passing it along. So somehow, some way I figured that out. And I just made a promise to my future children, that I would work on it. And I was successful in so many ways. I have one son, and I was successful in a lot of ways, except he lived with a mom who was in survival mode. So I didn't directly abuse him, but he lived in a home where I was not as stable as I am, certainly not as stable as I am today.
Yeah. Also dangerous in many ways, right? Yeah. Can you talk about the workshop that you lead?
So excited about that. It is an 8-week workshop, and it's specifically for women. And we go through we go through some stuff to help them work through the inner child and heal there. But then we also spend a lot of time educating them, teaching them, and empowering them. And then what's beautiful is at the end of the 8 weeks, I don't just say it's been nice knowing you. They get to actually go into a women's healing community where they can be there forever and have continued support. We'll be doing Q&As and lives, and they can connect with other women so that they're not doing this journey alone. That's the biggest thing that a lot of survivors deal with, is the loneliness.
Yeah, I bet. Is there a lot of like survivor's guilt as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One form of abuse that people don't stop and think about is if you witnessed abuse, even though you didn't experience it. So if you had a brother, a sibling, then you witness, and that does happen where that sibling will be abused, and you get to witness it. You don't experience it directly, but you have to live with that guilt, even though you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
What's the best way that people can connect with you?
So you can go to my website, which is Healing and Growing handinhandpodcast.com.
Okay, good. What do you love most about your life right now?
Just where I'm at. It's better than I ever imagined, honestly. And I'm not trying to be, egotistical or anything. Honestly, my life is so much better than I ever even imagined. And it's, I did a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, I thank you so much for the work you are doing, for the community you're creating, and for the space you're giving people. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. It was a pleasure having you here. Lisa Tickel, everyone. And who doesn't want that name? Everybody. We're going to take a break and be right back after this. Don't go away. Life is difficult. Are you feeling overwhelmed or like you could use a little support for your mental well-being? Visit the Help Hub. It's the most comprehensive and inclusive free online destination for mental health resources, helpful tools, crisis hotlines, and supportive content. Just go to thehelphub.co to find the resources you need when you need them most. Unlike other resource pages, the Help Hub is divided into 16 different categories, ensuring that everyone in every community has access to the resources and support that matches their unique needs. Find the help you're looking for at thehelphub.co. Welcome back, everyone. Hey, sad news for those of us around Waxhaw, North Carolina. Veggies is closing. It's the only vegan restaurant within, 20, 30 miles of where I live. And such beautiful, wonderful owners. The staff was great. The food was great. And they're closing, unfortunately, I think on the 19th of July is their last day. So if you are around Waxhaw, North Carolina, please stop. Get some food there. And if nothing else, get their brownie, because that thing is huge and tastes like it just came out of the oven. It's so, so good. I'm so sad that they're going to be leaving us. I should have had them on the show to do a cooking segment. They're just great people. Anyway, so that's my sad news for today in this happy, make your day richer world we're in. But go make your day richer. Go make somebody else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show, and I love you for it. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna get more coffee. We'll be back tomorrow with an all new episode, and we'll see you then. Bye bye.